Hello everyone, I'm Aida, and in this video is about navigating social media risks in patient advocacy. In the last video, we explore how social media can amplify your voice, help you connect with others, and share authentic stories that makes a real difference. Now, let's take it a step further and look how to protect yourself and your community as your online presence grows. Social media has completely changed the way we advocate for patients' rights and needs, but advocacy also requires energy, and for many people living with chronic conditions, that energy isn't endless. Learning how to use your energy wisely is essential. Think of it like managing a personal battery. You need to know when to charge, when to spend, and when to save. Taking care of your energy means you can show up online with purpose instead of out of pressure. Now we can connect with people who were previously isolated, amplify causes that once seemed invisible, and reach places that once felt out of reach. It's like having global megaphone in your pocket. Although, and we know this is very well, it's also a megaphone that sometimes amplifies the most absurd rumors. Even those that make you think, seriously, someone actually believes this? Thanks to these platforms, it's now possible to democratize access to information and prevention, treatments, and healthy habits. We can create communities where professionals and patients share experiences, questions, and emotional support. And if managed well, this interaction can improve treatment, adherence, and generally contribute to the well-being of those living with chronic conditions. It has also opened a huge window for scientific communication. Researchers and professionals can share findings, fight misinformation, and provide guidance directly to the public. But of course, with great opportunities come great responsibilities and some significant challenges. What we share can be interpreted in very different ways. That's why it helps to label posts clearly. For example, making them as personal experience or verified information, so your audience knows exactly what kind of message they are seeing. Online debates can scale quickly, and if we're not careful, we can end up exhausted, exposed, or even damaging the trust we've worked so hard to build. Discussing risks isn't pessimistic, it's protecting our work, our community, and ourselves. Yes, social media is a double-edged sword. The speed at which information travels is wonderful when content is reliable, but disastrous when it isn't. Misinformation spreads faster than a viral meme and can reach millions before anyone has time to correct it. In Spain, for example, more than 1,500 health-related hoaxes have been documented, from so-called natural cancer cures to miracle diets that don't work even if promoted by an influencer with 5 million followers. This reminds us that verifying information before sharing isn't just a good practice. It's an act of care. Care for the information, care for emotions, and care for our mission as patient advocates. Speaking of care, we cannot forget confidentiality. Sharing images, clinical anecdotes, or case studies, even anonymously, can violate fundamental rights. Many platforms lack strict privacy policies, and a small slip can lead to leaks or misuse of data for commercial purposes. Protecting digital information isn't optional, it's essential. Speaking of care, one of the most valuable things on social media community can offer is a sense of safety. For a patient, joining a group of network isn't just about finding information. It's about finding a place where they can be heard, where the experience and emotions have value. Being able to share their story, express fears, frustrations, or achievements without judgment is a huge relief. It's like finally being able to breathe after holding your breath for far too long. But that sense of safety doesn't appear by magic. It's carefully built with clear rules of respect, moderation, that guides rather than censor, and the presence of people committed to protecting the well-being of the community. Patients need to know that even when they share very personal parts of their lives, they are in an environment where their emotions are respected and their vulnerabilities won't be exploited. Creating these safe spaces also means allowing patients to take emotional risks with confidence. Thinking about a worrying symptom, a fear regarding treatment, or even a personal setback can be terrifying. But when a community is structured to provide support, understanding, and empathy, these interactions become opportunities for healing, learning, and strengthening bonds with others going through similar experiences. Here's a key point. Exposure in these spaces must be balanced with emotional well-being. Patient advocates and moderators have the responsibility to encourage respectful participation and provide tools for members to set boundaries. A safe environment isn't just protections against criticism or misinformation. It's a space where vulnerability is welcome and respected. When patients feel free to express themselves without fears, trust grows, and the community becomes stronger, more empathetic, and more inclusive. This, in turn, allows them access to emotional support, reliable information, and a sense of belonging, all essential for their well-being and resilience. If we talk about new challenges, we cannot ignore artificial intelligence. AI is no longer science fiction. It's here, whether we like it or not, and it's transforming the way we search, generate, and share health information. Think about it. From chatbots that answer medical questions to search engines that personalize what we see, AI is already everywhere. Even tools like ChatGPT can sound confident when giving health advice, but that doesn't always mean the information is accurate. AI has become an everyday tool, but also a field full of nuances and risks that we must understand as patient advocates. First, let's address the obvious: amplified misinformation. AI systems are only as reliable as the data they were trained on. If that data includes incorrect, out-of-context, or unverified information, AI can present it convincingly. Many patients, they assume that advice from a virtual assistant is automatically correct, which can lead to risk health decisions. Then there's bias and over-personalization. Algorithms tend to reinforce what we already believe, creating informational bubbles that make it harder to access verified information. This can confuse patients and generate distrust in unofficial sources. Another important risk is the false sense of authority. AI can generate long, structured, and persuasive texts that appear professional, and many people cannot tell if the information has been reviewed by an expert or is just the product of an algorithm. This turns AI into a sort of digital doctor who is friendly and fast, but cannot replace the assessment of a health professional. Let's not forget privacy. Every interaction with AI tools may involve sharing personal or sensitive information that is stored, analyzed, or even commercialized, often without fully informed consent. This is particularly sensitive in healthcare, where confidentiality is critical. So, what can we do? First, always verify information before sharing, even if it comes from AI. Second, educate our community about the limits of AI in health. Third, maintain privacy. Check terms of use and data policies before using any tool and be aware of the information we share. Lastly, promote digital literacy. Teach our community to think critically, identify trustworthy sources, and question content. I don't want this to sound alarmist. AI is also a huge opportunity. It can help organize information, reach more people with clear messages, generate educational content, and detect patterns that were previously hard to spot. But Like any powerful tool, its effectiveness depends on how we use it. Then there's polarization. Impatient communities, passionate debates are inevitable. We all bring our experience and emotions. The key isn't avoiding difference, but managing them with respect and empathy. Moderation doesn't mean censorship. It means guiding, reminding of rules of respect and taking a breather when necessary. Digital security is another crucial front. Organizations and community are easy targets for cyber attacks. Protect your accounts with strong passwords. Enable two-step verification and know what information is being shared. If a breach occurs, transparency is the best ally. Tell the truth, explain what happened and how it's being resolved. This strengthens trust even in difficult times. As advocates, our voice carries weight, and that comes with responsibility. Sharing medical advice without evidence can cause harm. Our role is not to replace the professional, but to accompany patients on their journey. Community are living spaces, full of engagement and commitment. Not everything posted will reflect our intention, and that's okay. Our job is to offer guidance, examples, and remind people of the common purpose. Inevitably, crises arise, unfair criticism, misunderstandings, or organized attacks. The difference between a destructive crisis and one that strengthens is preparation. Have a communication plan, know who can speak on behalf of the group, and ensure emotional support networks. Managing criticism requires calm. Assess, acknowledge concerns, and offer solutions. Every negative comment is an opportunity to learn and improve. If this happens, try this. If tension rises, pause the conversation, remind members of community rules, and refocus on shared goals. If misinformation spreads, post a clear correction with a trusted source calmly and without blame. If you face personal attacks, don't respond impulsively. Take a break, seek support, and if needed, report or block. If a crisis starts, gather your team, verify facts, communicate transparently, and keep members informed. If you feel overwhelmed, step back, rest, and delegate. Protecting your emotional energy helps protect the community. Creating inclusive content isn't just nice or legally required, it's a fundamental right. We mean everyone, including people with disabilities, can fully participate, and not only permanent disabilities. People with temporary difficulties, noisy environments, or visual fatigue also benefit from accessible content. Promoting digital inclusion is not only fair, it also allows us to reach more people. Around 50% of global population has some disability, and if we include temporary or contextual difficulties, practically all users may need some support to access information effectively. How do we do it? First, use alternative text for images and GIFs. A clear description makes a difference. For example, woman in a blue shirt smiling while holding a cup of coffee on a sunny terrace, instead of just woman smiling. It might seem over the top, but it makes a difference. Videos include captions and, if it's possible, full transcripts. This helps people with hearing impairments as well as those watching without sound or a noisy settings. Closed captions that can be turned on or off are ideal. Clear language and accessible visual design, along with diverse voices, make a digital communities inclusive, equitable, and trustworthy. In short, social media can be our best ally or our worst enemy, depending on how we use it. With awareness, preparation, and care, we can turn these platforms into a safe, inclusive, and useful spaces where patient advocacy is effective, sustainable, and human. Thank you for watching this training module. I hope it helps you as a patient and a patient representative. For more information, you can also check resources from your patient groups from Eurordis Rare Disease Europe or Every Life Foundation for Rare Disease and Empathy Training. Feel free to contact them directly.